The next disc golf record to be broken might not be what you think. But before we get to that, welcome to the Disc Golf Show. My name is Nick, and this is episode 30 of the 2026 season. This show is brought to you in part by our local pro shop, Final Nine Sports. If you are in Northern California, they have two locations, one in Orangevale and one in Rockland. Always support local if you can. However, if you're unable to find what you're looking for, we do have a remedy for that, and that is Disc Golf Deals USA. If you go to discgolfdealsusa.com/disc golf show, you can get 10% off of your entire order. Some exclusions do apply, mainly new mold releases. But big ticket items, save that money. Large orders, save that money. As always, we do like to start off the news on a good note. I don't know how we missed this, but shout out to Casey White on his recent marriage to his new bride. So enjoy those early years. Enjoy those early years. And the later ones as well. Moving on, there was an announcement by the Paul Macbeth Foundation for their Project 6.4, and that ends up being in Ghana. This is the first free permanent basket course anywhere in West Africa. It is designed by a gentleman named Israel Muanguzi, and hopefully I pronounced that right. And all 9 baskets for this course will be built in Ghana. This will be the 7th total course in Africa with a Paul Macbeth Foundation course. And it will be joining Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Zambia, and Ethiopia. So, continues to grow over in those other continents, which is good to see. Another update to the 2026 disc manufacturer program that the PDGA is holding this year, where you get 15% off of online purchases. This one is for Goliath Discs, and it is for 15% off online full price disc purchases at goliathdiscs.com. So go check them out. Disc Golf Day at Comerica Park. So this is a really cool thing. We had one in our area a while back at the now Athletics Stadium currently, but it's the Rivercat Stadium in Sacramento. This will be held right before the PDGA Worlds Disc Golf Day at Comerica Park, and it will be before the Detroit Tigers versus the Tampa Bay Rays game. There are a couple options for tickets, one being the player ticket package, and it comes with a limited edition ESP Super Color Buzz. And then if you go for the upgraded Pro package, you can get a custom confetti fused buzz. And we'll have a link to those tickets down below, as always. Discmania was recently announced as the official presenting sponsor of the 2026 Green Mountain Championships. So good to hear that. And in addition to that, LL Bean is joining as the premier course sponsor for the Fox Run course. Always good to see LL Bean involved in disc golf. Don't forget, end of the month is only a few days away. If you can, before July 30th or through July 31st, go vote in those PDGA elections. If you want change, you always got to vote. So go cast your ballot. Announcement from First Form, partnering with the DGPT. They recently announced via Anthony Barilla, I saw it via his socials, a step challenge via their First Form app. It is a month-long challenge for August, so get in while you can. They will have weekly and monthly prizes, which may include discs or supplements. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. You do have to download the First Form app, and you can get a free 7-week trial. So obviously this is a way to get you hooked up in there and maybe get you on the right track. I don't know. Check it out if you're interested. The most recent event that took place was the Champions Landing Open. Now this is Jomez Pro Series event. This is at the course in Emporia at Champions Landing. Used to be called the Dynamic Discs Open, was called the Glass Blown Open. But they're coming back. Hopefully this is a step in the right direction to where it will be included in the main DGPT Tour rather than the Jomez Pro Series level events. That way we can see some live coverage of this event, but it's good to see that this course is coming back. There's been some massive changes. If you wanted to look and see what happened, you can follow Eric McCabe on YouTube. He has been highlighting some of the changes at the course, some upgrades like the island hole 16, I believe it is, where they made it a little more pretty, beautified the island and made a little retaining wall at the front and things like that. So good to see that this course seems like it's on its way back, and I hope to see more in the future. Some things of note: this new layout for this event featured a par 6 for the FPO division at 1,000 feet. This was hole 18, finishing hole, and even as a par 6, it averaged for FPO a 2.43 over par. I think, you know, you don't just add on. Personally, I would say don't just add on a stroke for the FPO division. I think a lot more design, and Eric is more than capable of doing so. But obviously you want to push the boundaries and test some new ideas and things like that. But I think this may have came up a little short. I think a redesign on this, at least for FPO, is in order. But yeah, I mean, we did touch on last episode that there was a par 7 at a Japan course. So, I mean, is that something that you see as something that's possible for disc golf? Do we hold ourselves to the same restrictions as golf when it comes to pars, being a par 5 as the largest par? Does it get boring as a par 7 or 6 where you're throwing 3-4 drives for some divisions? Is that something that you see as something that will better disc golf? I don't know. Let me know. It's definitely an interesting idea for disc golf. As for the actual event, let's get to that. FPO, Owen Scoggins came back. She held off a charging Katrina Allen in the final round to actually get a win by 1. So that shortfall that she had at the last event, where she had those putting woes, short amount, obviously, because she came back and she won this event. So shout out to Owen. MPO, Gannon Burr, barely in the lead after round 1. So, it's good to see that there are those other players that are pushing him. And one of those players is a new name for us, is Charles Hemstock. He was 1 back after round 1. Great start. Didn't finish well, but you have those glimpses of the capabilities that you're able to show, especially when you end up being on a lead card, something that's being filmed, even if it isn't live. Having those cameras on you obviously affected him in round 2 because he did not have a great round, but it's always good to see new names at the top, whether it's at the beginning of the event or at the end. Matty O pushed into second after round 2, and in round 3, Gannon slipped up quite a bit at the beginning of this event. Matty O ended up taking the lead. I think he ended up getting up to a 4-stroke lead over Gannon. But again, Gannon's one of those guys that you can never count out. And in those last 3 holes, he birdied 3 of them to end up winning by 1 stroke. So shout out to Gannon again for another win in 2026. Definitely want to make note of the Eagles Crossing Masters Invitational that also was being held this last weekend, and the winner of that being Corey Ellis. This is another one where he even stated never give up, because after the first round he thought, he was frustrated. He wanted to almost DNF. There were several DNFs at this event due to, I believe, heat was the main issue. But he ended up sticking it out and came back from the 3rd card to win. And that is a big feat. So congratulations to Corey Ellis on that win. Some stats or some records, as I alluded to at the beginning of the show, to touch on or chew on here. Paul Macbeth, seeing as how he has barely played at all this year due to his health issues that he's had, still needs around 400 to 500 points to qualify for the Tour Championship. So will he be able to do that? Will he be? I mean, I think if he starts playing again, yes, he will. There's still plenty of events left for him to get those points. But as of right now, that's what it looks like for him at the end of the season, or for the end of the season. Gannon Buhr is on pace to break the all-time single-season earnings record for the second year straight. Last year, he did that, and this year, so far in this year, he's at 115,000 in event winnings. In 2025, his total was ultimately at $211,432. So he's definitely on pace to break that record. Ricky Wysocki, another money-related record. He is very close to eclipsing the $1 million in career tournament earnings, and he only needs slightly over 50,000, so $51,156.24 to get to that million career earnings, tournament earnings mark. 3 of those top 10 career earners right now are women. Paige Pierce being in 5th, Missy Gannon in 7th, and Owen in 10th, who just surpassed Nicola Castro. And funny enough, Kristen Lott is number 12. Hasn't played at all this year, and barely played last year. Yeah, interesting. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes moving forward. If you do want to look up some career earnings records or the status of maybe your player that you're following, I'll have that link down below. So stay tuned for that. Silas Schultz watch, the best segment of, or the best part of this segment. He's still where he's at. He's still in 14th for DGPT standings because, he hasn't played an event since Heinla. So, he will be playing, I'm sure, soon. We've got some big events coming up very, very soon, and we'll get to that. That brings us, also, if you want to check out your favorite player or somebody that you just want to follow, see where they're standing, I'll have that link down below as well. Brings us to the question of the episode. This made me think because I saw this mentioned on the socials, and it was a post made by Dan P. I don't know if I should say his last name. I won't. He probably knows who he is. Would a stat on basket hits but not makes be a valuable statistic? And so not missed putts in general, but missed putts involving hitting metal. And more specifically, I'm adding on to his question, whether you missed hit high or low, or hit chains left or right. And in addition to that, would it change your mind if it had distances involved with each of those statistics? I'm a stats guy. I like numbers. So I think this would be super interesting to really break down those misses and errors and close calls for these people that are playing professionally. I think it would definitely be cool because more stats, who doesn't want more stats? So let me know down below what you think, if that's something that you'd think would improve the stat world for disc golf. Before we move on to gear and equipment, guys, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, the like, the notifications, and the share. All the goods. It helps much more than you might think, and I definitely do appreciate it. As for gear and equipment, this segment is brought to you by Disc Golf Deals USA. Go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow. Save that 10% off of your entire order. Some exclusions do apply. Baskets, bags, carts, large disc orders. That money adds up. Save it while you can. As for approved discs, yesterday we had the Kuhle, I'm probably slaughtering that, Kuhle, by Nice Discs. Funny enough, that means nice in Zulu. So cool. In addition to that, that disc is actually the 100th PDGA approved disc for the year of 2026. So you got that going. Also, in addition to that, you had the Cavalier by Infinite Discs. So those two links will be down below, as well as you can find them on the PDGA website. We got some recent and upcoming releases. Discmania, again, I like to shout these out because why not? You might want one. July 27th, the Special Edition Lux Vapor Function, the Neo Lumen Spore, which is a Discmania Challenge fundraiser, and the Arctic Assassin Sea-Line Metal Flake Horizon P2X, which is also a Discmania Challenge fundraiser. And in addition to that, August 3rd, we've got a Gannon Burr Signature Series Glow Sea-Line MD5, the Cryo Blade 2 coming out. And also on the 3rd, the series of Flex 1 P-Line discs. So you have the Flex 1 P-Line P1, Flex 1 P-Line P2, and the Flex 3 P-Line P1 and the Flex 3 P-Line P2. All those will be available in singles or sets of 5 if you don't want to get those practice putter sets. Moving on to Discraft and Ledgestone with the St. Jude Charity Fused Edition set. That will be releasing at Ledgestone, so here tomorrow, I think, actually. The event doesn't start tomorrow, but, well, the event does. The competition doesn't. Starts on the 30th, so they will be releasing those on Thursday. That will include the Buzz, the Zone, the Scorch, and the Raptor in those fused styles. MVP has a disc called the Control being released in late August. The flight numbers for that is a 10.5, -0.52. And then, again, if you're looking to stay on top of a lot of these things, go to Disc Golf Deals. If you go to the Drops tab at the top and check out their release calendars, you can see what's on their way via their coming this week, coming this month, and on the Horizon sections, which is a neat way to stay in the know for new molds and new discs coming out. Last but not least, shoes. Always the shoes. You use them on every throw. And those two companies that we like to mention on here are Idio Sports and Vessi. Two definitely different visually stylistic approaches. And then the main difference is the sole. So the Idio Sports have a closer to zero sole, more flat. And they both have low tops, high tops. My favorite thing about both of these is that they're waterproof and very lightweight, especially the Idios. My Idios that I use, I have both, but the Idio is very lightweight, very comfortable. Don't feel like you got a brick on your foot. So go check those out. Let me know which one you like more, which one suits your style more. As for upcoming events, we've got a few here. July 30th through August 2nd, again, coming up Thursday. The 2026 Discraft Ledgestone Open presented by Zuka. It's a DGPT Plus event in Peoria, Illinois. July 31st to August 2nd, also the 2026 Sierra Viori Challenge. It is a Euro Tour event, and that is in Euro, Finland. August 7th to 9th will be the 2026 Discmania Challenge, and that is a DGPT event in Indianola, Iowa at Pickard Park. And then August 11th, the 2026 OTB Tour Skins at Blue Ribbon Pines, which is a Go Throw event in East Bethel, Minnesota. Last but not least is the Global. That is the Paul Macbeth Foundation event that's happening September 19th. We will be mentioning this until it happens, where you can play in any event that's being held nearest you. Again, if you don't have one near you, go sign up, be a TD at one of these events, because it will be globally rated. So they'll be doing all the back end work on rankings, course ratings, player round ratings, to see where you rank in your round at your event versus everybody across the globe. So very cool idea. Hopefully it runs well. Very, very cool. But the link for that will be down below. Whether you want to participate or run an event, you can click on that link and learn more. Moving on to the mailbag, where we give you some products and videos to consume. If you've already done them and you've already watched them, or you already have the item, let somebody else know about it, or check it out again. As for the products, we all know we like to display our favorite discs, and some of those older style ones where, maybe you just use a thumbtack, or you have those little plastic curved items that you can hang your disc on the wall. But there's always upgrades. And some of those involve the following. So to display your discs, you got Touch Disc Golf. They have several different options, whether they're wall-mounted racks or little, I'll show you this one, that right there, things like that, or travel racks. We got one down there, but they have a large variety of products. So some of their stuff starts as low as $11, so go check them out. Again, touchdiscgolf.com, that'll be down below. You've got Aeroflame. Aeroflame, why did I say that? Aeroframe. Very cool, round, contained. Well, they also have different options there where it can be hanging open, or it can be encased with a cover on it if you really, really, really want to protect it. And those, they have the float, the air, the shield, and the pedestal, which is basically kind of like a picture frame stand for it. But those start at around $9.99. So again, airoframe.com, that'll be down below. And then last that I want to touch on is the Disc Hive. This is a 6-sided frame by the Dyers Guild. And those not only come in plastic, but they also are available in different woods, stains, and colors. So go check that out if you want something like that. They match up really well. It looks really cool if you have a bunch of them together. It looks like a beehive, obviously the Disc Hive. And those start at $29.95. A lot more involved in those. But go check those out. And that is dyersguild.co/thedischive. Again, all those links will be down below. As for videos, guys, just a couple small ones here. The first being a small video out by Innova on their YouTube channel. It's called the World's Edition Collector Set. If you haven't seen this, you're living under a rock. It's the Innova, they're just touching on the Innova Discraft Collab box where you got a rock and a buzz in the same box. This would have never, ever been a possibility back in the day that Innova and Discraft came together and provided their plastics in the same box. But it's good to see, and it's coming up for Worlds, so stay tuned for that. And a little snippet of that, their YouTube video, it's only a few minutes long. Go check it out. It'll be down below. Last for this, I did want to do a little self-plug kind of. I uploaded a first version or first video of a new kind of series that I thought, you know, as much as it pops into my head, I'll put more of these up. Definitely some more ideas I can throw out there. It's called 2 Minutes. If you don't know what 2 minutes is, then you probably haven't played Shotgun Start Events, 2 rounds in 1 day. But 2 minutes, new little series, literally about 3 minute long because I do an intro and an outro. But I give myself 2 minutes to touch on a topic and make a couple comments, but leave it out there for your guys' purview and your opinions. So go check it out. That link will be down below. Really quick watch. Well, brings us to the end of the show, guys. I really appreciate it as always. Thank you so much. We like to give you ways to save some funds. Also, as for the mailbag, don't forget Buckets DG sponsors that segment. If you use code DiscGolfShow, you can save 10% off of your order there. So we'll start off the outro with that. Bucketsdg.com. They have shirts, very breathable, lightweight, long sleeve, short sleeve, different styles. Go check them out. If you're in the market for a bag, you can go to Upper Park Disc Golf. You can use code DiscGolfShow there. You can save some funds there. Big shout out to Disc Golf Deals USA. Go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow. Save 10% off your entire order. You're looking for bags, carts, baskets, large disc orders, maybe a set of practice putters that you want. Save that 10%. It adds up. Some exclusions do apply, mainly new molds. And then shout out to our local pro shop, Final 9 Sports. Always support local if you can. If you're in Northern California, Sacramento area, they have 2 locations, one in Orangeville and one in Rockland. Always support local. If you do have any topics you want me to include in an upcoming episode, shoot me an email, discgolfshow@gmail.com. More than happy to help spread the word. And before I'm out here, hit that subscribe, the like, the share, the notifications. As always, it really does help. I hope you have a blessed day, And I'll see you next week.